I'm Andrew Weir.
And I'm Nicholas Pallocchi.
In 2011, we took a handcrafted Morgan convertible for an amazing journey across America, searching for individuals keeping the rare craft traditions alive. Starting in Florida, winding our way westward up the coast and back to New York, we look for craftspeople building things by hand, putting their own stamp on something. We're happy to say that they exist, and we're pleased to show you just the tip of the iceberg in this film. But first, we'd like to take you to our home turf, the inspiration for our quest, Dufftown, Scotland. Tucked away in this picturesque part of the world that we call home is the Balvenie Distillery. For over 100 years, the hard-working men and women of the Balvenie have been using the same traditional methods to craft our single malt whisky. We decided that we should have one last visit with the team before we started our American journey. Balvenie is the only distillery in Scotland that stays true to all the rare crafts of traditional whisky making. We still grow our own barley and malt it in our own floor maltings. So David, here we are in what to whisky lovers is hallowed concrete. One of only 6 traditional floor maltings left in the business.
We're surrounded in amazing countryside and growing massive amounts of barley. I was sort of born up in a farming background and loved playing in barley. This maltings does play an important part. Without this, then there would be something missing, I think, out of the Balvenie character. Well, listen, guys, enough of your chat. It's about time you got back into turning the barley.
The fact that we're in the only functional pagoda roof in all of the mainland of Scotland.
And if you dig down, you can actually get to the floor.
A perforated floor, so that's the smoke comes through.
It's becoming sweet as well.
Like
Get smoked out, guys.
All right, that's good.
Follow you.
The craft of distilling has taken place in the Highlands of Scotland for hundreds of years. Vicky Shaw, one of our distillers, and Dennis McBain, our coppersmith, had some very interesting things to tell us about the Balvenie's unique copper stills.
Above the base you have this feature here which is called the boil ball. See it on the one behind us there as well. And what that's doing is it's increasing the surface area of the still. Yeah. The more surface area you've got, the greater chance there is of that condensing before it gets to the top and falling back down. And it just enhances the flavour of your spirits.
We've had a gentleman who's worked for us here since 1958, Dennis.
My main job is to monitor the condition of all the stills and the copper pipework and give the company prior warning of when the unit should be replaced. By experience, the sound told us this will have to be replaced in the next 3 to 4 years.
Compared to other distilleries, there's not much has changed around here.
Not a lot, no.
Still do things the old-fashioned way.
If you want to call it that.
Ah.
I would say we still do it the right way.
Fair play, fair play. You can't build a whiskey barrel with nails or glue. At Balvenie, we're proud to have our own team of coopers who skillfully repair, rebuild, fill and seal casks all day, all year. About to start this tour going around visiting craftsmen, and we thought, come to the distillery and visit our own craftsmen, the guys that we know. You've been a cooper for how many years?
42 years been with the company.
The head cooper, you've been here 42 years and you're still on the floor every day, Bill. Right. You're not realising you're supposed to sit behind a computer and just
No, I like it keeps my youngest, man.
Right, Ian, so you're going to show us how to put a cask together then?
Yes, we're now going to attempt to raise this barrel, right? This just basically holds your thumb here, okay? The rivets, see the rivets here, always go in line with the bunghole. I'll get a wee right here, right? Now we're going to put in a reed, right? We put it in and give it a wee twist round.
That looks like the most fun part.
Okay, guys.
Is that what you did if your children were misbehaving?
We're also lucky enough to have our own Malt Master, David Stewart, who in 2012 will celebrate 50 years with our distillery. Today we're both very excited because David has invited us to put together the casks for a very special expression of Balvenie. Ton 1401. Here we are in Warehouse 24, one of the oldest parts of the Balvenie Distillery. But we're here to do something really special, and I'm excited.
We are. I'm here to create the batch 3 of ton 1401. So today we're going to use this manual pump, transferring the whisky from the casks into this marrying tun here. So who's doing the 1967 cask?
Right. You can tell the difference in the colour through the pipe.
I don't need to get myself to the gym.
Let's do it in a big moment. Whoa! Hey!
Wow!
It's a healthy dram.
It's a healthy dram.
So you get that nice sort of citrus, some spices, you get that sort of nutmeg and cinnamon from some of the sherry casks. So it's very rich and very complex and full-bodied. A lovely example of an aged Balvenie.
Hey, what's going on here then?
The guys
Yeah, the whiskey was coming in.
Did you hear the overflowing of the ton and you said that?
Yes,
There must be something extra.
This is a great dram for us to share before myself and Andrew start in the Balvenie Rare Craft Roadshow. So we're actually going to drive a handmade car right across the United States, visiting craftspeople that make things still by hand, the slow way, as Dennis said earlier, the right way. So, who have the same passion and love for whatever they make, for the same passion and love that we clearly all have here as the Balvenie team making our single malt Scotch whisky.
A toast to everyone at Balvenie. So, Slàinte mhath. Cheers.
Cheers.
The last one.
Heaven in a glass.
Wonderful.
Feeling inspired by our craftsmen at Balvenie, we crossed the Atlantic to begin our American road trip. We met our Morgan Roadster in Florida. There we discovered fine jewellery makers and talented carpenters, glass blowers and boat builders, and we marvelled at the many craftspeople that we had the privilege to spend time with. Anyone who knows Nicholas and I knows that we like to have a good time. So it's no accident that we penciled into our route a stop in New Orleans, the Big Easy. We heard about this amazing blacksmith artist who lives and works there, so we had to meet her.
Hey, Rachel. How you doing? I'm Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. Nice to meet
Hi.
you.
Andy.
Hi, Andy. Nice to meet you. This is my shop.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Safety glasses.
I can see into the future with these things on.
So I was thinking I would demonstrate this nice bottle rack that will fit your bottles in it.
So you already made this to
I made
the
this.
size of our bottle?
Yeah. So I built this forge, and it's pretty efficient.
So you built it yourself?
Yeah, I made most of the tools in the shop.
So this is probably the only craft in the world
I make
where you
all
make
the
your own tools that you
for
make
all
everything.
the other crafts
Exactly.
too. I make
So
woodworkers,
this is the
chisels.
ultimate craft.
That's what it's called, the king of crafts. Or
King of crafts. I'm glad we came here.
I've been doing this for almost 10 years, and I was working for this woman who was a stone carver. She traded me like office time for welding lessons, and then I just decided that I was gonna figure out how to do it. And I read some books, and I just searched out how to learn and how to get my hands on knowledge. Oh, I don't have a gym membership.
I'm exhausted.
You know the New Orleans dance troupe.
Yeah.
Trying to stay out of the way of you burning hot pokers.
I do not want to get in your bad side.
No.
Ever.
You work the door of the local bars at the weekend as well.
No, I'd make more money.
Your name's not down, you're not getting in. No problem, Rachel. See you later. But I have to say, today, this is probably the most labour-intensive, physical piece of craftsmanship we've seen. Spectacular.
Must take a lot of patience.
It takes a lot of patience, but usually I have music on really loud.
What do you listen to?
It doesn't matter because I can't hear it. So I started with this blank, and then I end up with this. You guys want to give it a shot?
Why not build one of these?
I think we should start easy. Take it over the anvil, get your hammer, get ready.
Right there?
Just anywhere, just do it. So keep the bowl of the spoon hanging off the anvil.
Like that?
Yeah, pretty much. But you can get closer, standing really far back and hammering like this. You want to kind of get up and like get on your work. Yeah. It's like an arrowhead. But
It's the world's most dangerous spoon is what I'm going for.
You want to come work for free?
That's it.
So how was that for you guys?
I was surprised, not surprised at how bad I was, but it just showed me how good you are at manipulating like a piece of steel to get, obviously, the bottle holder, and I can't even get it to flatten out.
Well, that's exactly, when we saw you make the bottle holder, we thought, you know, this, obviously it looked difficult and looked hard, and then we thought, oh, we're only doing a spoon. But actually, a spoon was really hard after a hard day in the workshop.
Good work, guys.
Thanks very much. Well, it wasn't much of a spoon.
Was not much of a
But
spoon.
you do deserve some whiskey.
But it was a beautiful arrowhead that I made. Which is what I was going for all along, but I just didn't want to show off.
Oh, you didn't want to
on my first day, you know.
This is for you guys.
Whoa, look at that.
A perfect fit.
Are you ready to take orders for these from committed Balvenie fans all over the country?
Just call me up.
The craftsmanship.
Thank you. It's a craftsmanship.
Enlightening experience.
It's been amazing. Thank you so
Fun
much.
to meet you guys.
We'll see you again sometime. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Take care.
There was a lot of ground to cover and many more interesting artisans to meet. And every city we visited, from Phoenix, Arizona to Austin, Texas, brought new feats of craftsmanship that astounded us. We took the Morgan for the drive of a lifetime along the famous Pacific Coast Highway, and soon found ourselves in San Francisco, California. There we visited GS Violins, a husband and wife team whose centuries-old craft provides a confection for the ears.
Who's this little fella here?
That's Mikey.
Hello, Mikey.
He's our ambassador.
Is this the workshop?
Now, this is where we start. We start by selecting our materials. That is going to be a cello top.
This is beautiful.
Thank you very much.
This is where you make everything that you do.
We do everything here. We like making like players like playing. But our competition are these dead Italians that have been dead for 300 years. And we have to compete with them. In the meantime, I think we still have never done it right. I think that's what drives. When you get close to the end, you think you're there, and the next day, you just know you're not. So you have to do it again. We make about 10 instruments a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about 3 of those are cellos, 3 violins, 3 viols.
I'm just looking at some of the things in the workbench here. For example, this tiny, many little tape measure, and these tiny little
planes,
yeah.
Planes. These we make.
Small ones we make.
Basically, what we're doing is making a 16th century amplifier. before there was electricity, before there were Fender guitars and amplifiers. This is the sound of just a string. And the minute you put this on a bridge,
Whoa.
it amplifies it. And basically, everything vibrates. The head shakes, the back vibrates, it breaks up into a lot of different segments, and that produces the tones and the overtones of an instrument.
And how long have you been making these instruments?
1972.
Yeah, it's just so tactile. I just wanted to get my hands on it, you know, and I love the fact that when you're finished, it's still there. Music is gone when you're finished, but this is still there.
It's lovely to hear your work being played on movies. You get records from musicians from all over saying, you know, that your instrument is part of it.
Where does the whole thing begin?
Almost all of Stradivarius forms survive, so that now the next thing we're going to do is bend a rib. Just plane that. Okay, let's see what this thickness is.
Literally just by hand.
Well, it works well enough by hand. Those dead Italians that we talk about, they didn't use a square. If you look at them, the face is one of symmetry, but usually when you start looking, they're pretty crooked, you know? So, and we like that. The second part of the Cremonese method.
So rustic.
Rustic is the perfect word. So the next thing that happens here is that we want this to be wide enough for a cello. Is now how are we going to put these two pieces together? This is...
You see why I'm not joining?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
man.
okay.
And even give it a shot if you like.
Just go for it.
That's the technique. Ah, that's pretty good. So, we'll start fitting this, and the idea is that there should be no airspace at all. Then they get glued together. Give it a try. You can do it. Lock it in. Go this way.
Oops.
That's all
That
right.
looked good.
There you go. There it is.
Good.
Yep. The good sounding piece of wood.
This is the soft wood.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about
Yeah?
maple.
Yeah, maple's much harder.
Each maker has a certain kind of an F that you can identify them with, you know. So when we copy an instrument, we also want to copy as closely as we can the maker.
Well, absolutely no reason to carve this away when you can get rid of it in bulk. So now I'm just getting rid of that. I'm just an awful lot closer to where I can start carving this. Although this looks painted on, it's actually 3 pieces of inlaid wood. 2 are dyed black, and then with hide glue, again, we will glue up a little sandwich of that. I'm slowly refining that out. You're up.
Okay, look. This is how to ruin a perfectly good instrument.
The final along here is to take this equisetum, which look like a little cross between bamboo and an asparagus. That's the final texture along here that you leave. Hey, Peter, come on in.
You're not going to tell us we're going to get some music.
You're going to
played
get some
right here
music.
now.
This is a cello that we made that Peter's owned for a few years now. Playing it with the San Francisco Symphony. He's the associate principal.
If you're going to let us see and hear the fruit of your labour, we should at least let you taste the fruit of the labour of the guys that work at Balvenie producing this whiskey. So,
I shall let you all have a little toast.
Lovely color.
slide your back.
Slide your back.
Enjoy. After winding our way north and then all the way back east, New York City was the obvious final stop for our tour of craftsmanship. It wasn't, however, the hustle and bustle of Manhattan that drew us in, but the back streets and repurposed warehouses in the outer boroughs of Brooklyn and Queens. We visited Joel Voisard and Forrest Lowry, two like-minded artisans and partners in craft, to see them create beautiful furniture and lamps out of salvaged wood and found objects.
I take a lot of pride in my craftsmanship. We reclaim materials, we bring them back here and we make them into something.
This piece here is a piece of walnut that I found at a wedding just recently in Pennsylvania. There was a big pile of these slabs, wondering what they were for, so I asked it was a friend of the family, and he told me that they're destined for the burn pile.
So you rescued it?
I absolutely rescued it.
I have a question. Do they always have burn piles at Pennsylvania weddings?
Yeah, I guess. I was on a farm.
It's a tradition.
Yeah.
So obviously Andrew and myself have put our hands up to be put to work today. So what do you have in store for us?
My partner Forrest here is going to teach you how to turn this beautiful old piece of walnuts slab into this beautiful Lowry Versard finished kitchen table.
Lead the way, Andrew. Right. Let's get cracking.
Right this way.
So what's the starting process then?
Well, the first thing we got to do is we got to clean the dirt off of it. So we made this thing, wire.
You made
that? Yeah, we call this guy Oscar the dust-eating snail. I try to kind of overlap by half. You're a natural. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to sharpen and set up the hand plane. There you go. I think that's more or less the spot. I think we got it. That's actually really pretty damn good.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that feels all right. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. When I found this, I knew Forrest would be in love with it. The first thing I thought, because it was just something that fits his eye and is exactly what he loves. I was like, oh God, he's gonna love this. And when I showed up with it, we were actually working at the market, and I was like, I got that piece. I sent a picture, and he basically left and went and looked at it. And comes back with this smile this big. He's like, oh yeah.
This is a cabinet scraper. It cuts a little different. It's a scraping cut instead of a slicing cut. This leaves the finish much finer than any sandpaper. The last thing we do is we put a linseed oil mix that we make, and you can see it really brings out the colors in the wood. It gives the wood a luminosity and kind of brings out the grain. I like wood a lot, so it's nice to kind of see sort of how it was meant to be looked at.
So we need to see some more of this place.
We actually approach lighting the same way we do these reclaimed wooden materials. We reclaim bits and bobs of metals, and we turn them into lamps and illuminated things, as well as some sculptural elements.
So if it was up to you guys, there'd be nothing left lying on the sides of the streets.
Exactly. It would all be in our shop.
So we'd love to see some of the lighting, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I think we're going to do a lamp. I have a real fascination for collecting old, weird, bits and bobs, pieces
Nothing
of.
weird about this.
There's nothing weird about this. I would say the majority of these parts here all come from a certain place that I like to go to. These elements here came from an old furniture company that I actually shared a studio with. What we're gonna do is you're gonna take this and you just unscrew these, and we're gonna see what's inside.
It's not going to be filled with candy or anything.
No.
Spiders, maybe.
Tea time?
Tea time it is.
There you go.
Did you always like lighting?
You know, I don't know what it was. I guess once I figured out that I could light things, it wasn't that big of a deal, then I was like, well, I should light everything. So we gotta do both ends. I'll give you that. Okay. Oh, nice. Look at that. One bulb for you, sir. One bulb for you.
You're not my father.
Ready? Go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Good, Emma. Thanks very much.
Congratulations, guys. Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Well, gentlemen, I just want to say thanks very much for inviting us.
So, cheers.
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 Slanchava.
Now, this is the end of our tour. We've been all over the US, but this has been a great way to finish it. This whiskey is made as close to the old way as possible, from growing our own barley right through to having, you know, coppersmith and coopers and people who love what they do, and that's the connection.
We live in a world that's fairly disposable. When we buy something and we think it's going to last 6 months or a year maximum, and that, for some reason, that's become okay with most people. My mother gave my brother the dining table that her grandmother used to have because it was a beautiful piece of handmade furniture. And that doesn't really exist anymore, so it's nice to come and visit somewhere where they still take that time and effort to create something that's going to be part of the family.
I reckon that this table that we're sitting at now will still be around in 300-400 years.
When we look at the skyline, we like to think about like all the little like pieces of furniture we've got like in, you know, associated with all those lights we see, and like, or like Antiques Roadshow like 3031, and they're like, oh, this looks like a fine example of an early Lowry Voice.